Earlier this year, I took a walk on the Shepperton branch line, and I'm back at the very last station on that line, which is in London, which is Hampton, as I take a walk across West London today towards Hounslow and to one of the most intriguing places in the capital, which is quite possibly one of my favourites as well. That was a new train, by the way, and yet it still mentioned TfL Rail, which was the precursor to the Elizabeth line. I do just have a couple of local parks to cross over to get in the direction of Hounslow at the beginning, such as Carlisle Park here. I also have the tiny nursery green here in an area called Nurserylands, which I remember being quite intrigued by when I passed through here on the bus, because it is quite the intriguing name. The name is quite self-explanatory though, because before this area was built up as a suburb in the 1970s, Nurserylands was formed of just garden nurserylands. I should point out as well that I am just skirting around the edge of Hampton Common, which is our largest green space so far, but I can't really afford to delve too far into it because of some places we want to visit over in that direction. Now there will be another river later on, which I will feature a lot more in this video, but I couldn't not point out the Longford River as I was crossing over it. This is a little tributary of the River Colne. It was constructed in 1638 by King Charles I to provide a water source for Hampton Court Palace. So I've now actually joined the London Loop, where surprisingly I don't really remember this section. I don't even quite know what this area is called. I think I've seen it on the map as Hampton Heath, but I don't think you can explore much of it because most of it now is a golf course. I guess as well, on this section of the London Loop, I would have been much more interested in the Royal Bushy Park near the beginning, down the Kingston end, and what is coming up later, which we're going to get to soon. I definitely feel like I would remember this busy road. I'm glad to come off of it though. And now I'm in the much more quiet Crane Park, where there does seem to be an actual River Crane flowing through, but the London Loop passes along it on the other side. I thought I would just come to the south side as I've not walked through this part before. So the south side of Crane Park is in an area called Hanworth, which is the terminus of the H25 bus route, or more specifically, the Butts Farm Estate. It was definitely interesting to have caught a bus to a place called Butts Farm back in the day, and I found out that the name derives from a John Butts who leased the land in 1804, and then much of the housing estate here now were developed in the 1950s. So I just took a little break on this bench here. I noticed there's a little depiction of something which is on the other side of the River Crane. You might have spotted it on the map a minute ago. And here I got my first little glimpse of the River Crane itself today, and there were a couple of dog owners throwing sticks and balls in the river. The dogs are loving the river. It's a great way to cool off, and even I was tempted, because I noticed for them how shallow it was. If I just took my socks and shoes off, I could actually walk over to the other side to see what is depicted on that bench. For the sake of walking more of the River Crane though, I've not waded through it, and I've come up to the bridge to now pass back along it on the other side, which is the London Loop path. Actually, I found out that this is not the London Loop footpath. I'm gonna have to duck beneath these two trees here, but it seems to just be a path in the middle of like two different branches of the River Crane. The London Loop is actually over there. We'll join it up here in a minute. So here's the other little branch of the River Crane, which is nowhere near as glamorous, but it's there where the London Loop path is. So that's cool. I got to do like an unexpected additional path I've not been on before. I will always take that. Now what makes this section of the London Loop so fantastic is this, the Shot Tower, which is an incredible structure. Hang on, can't even see the top yet. There it is, which came as a complete surprise when I walked this section of the London Loop, I think in early 2019. I had no idea it was here, and what made it even better was that on the weekends you can climb it for free, and at the top you do get a good view of planes landing at Heathrow Airport. So this site used to be the Hounslow gunpowder mills, which opened in 1760, and it was alleged that the shot tower here was used to manufacture lead shot, but recent discoveries have unveiled that actually it could have just been an old windmill. The licensing to manufacture gunpowder was dropped in 1927, and then Crane Park here opened in 1935. So unfortunately, it's not the weekend today, so I can't climb the shot tower, but there is a little visitor centre which is still open here, which has some good information. Bizarrely, I don't remember this. I just remember climbing it. Beside the shot tower lies a couple of millstones, obviously dating back to when there was an actual mill here. And there's a little island which was created so that the River Crane can actually power the mills here. I figure whilst we're here, we might as well actually take a looped walk around the island. So I'm about to complete my loop of the former mill island, and I've got one final shot here of the shot tower, looking very impressive in the sun. Might be the best shot of it that you can get because it's mostly surrounded by trees. This might be one of London's best kept secrets. I love this place. So I've headed alongside the London Loop and the River Crane to where they are passing underneath this road bridge, but I want to be back beside the river on the other side where we left it earlier. So I'm going to loop around through some green spaces that I've never been to, just for the sake of ticking some more off the list. So I'm beginning to question my height on this road bridge, because I'm fairly certain that I'm 5'10". There's a gap. There's no way I'm 5'8". The park I get to pass through is known as Heathfield Recreation Ground, and was worth coming to purely to see this chair, which I thought about going to sit on, but it's actually like boiling just a touch, so no thank you. And there's actually a selection of cemeteries around here as well. This isn't the only green space. There was a Twickenham cemetery. There seems to be what is just known as the Borough Cemetery right next door, and then across the road there's a Hounslow Cemetery. But just to add to that, this morning there was a very tiny Hampton Cemetery which just lay in between two suburban streets. So I've made it back to the bridge from earlier over the River Crane, and we're going to start heading up it again now, which I was going to say I would recommend doing rather than actually following the London Loop path here into Hounslow Heath. But there is actually a direction sign pointing this way, so perhaps there's like an alternative path you can take now. And I would recommend doing this because this is going to be a much more interesting walk than if you were to follow the London Loop, which just takes a large section of road here. Okay, so the new part of the London Loop heads in to here, which is part of a nature reserve. I'm actually not even going to do this. I'm just going to head straight through Leitrim Park, which seems to be adjacent to a crematorium, so perhaps we can take that alternative path another time. Why on earth is this table so big? There's a random cat on this path. It's definitely trying to hunt for something. Oh! Did it get it? You're right. Goodbye. By coming this way, I get to visit what is nowadays called the Feltham Art Circle walls, but what used to be part of a sewage works that closed back in the 50s. This is really quite the bizarre little place. I know that Hounslow Heath is home to a curious couple of abandoned locations, and another time I arrived on the Heath by coming through this park and discovered this, just another abandoned place to top it off, which just made me wonder even more why the London Loop didn't come this way, because you miss out on so much. And for quite substantial artworks, which apparently is changing quite regularly, I'm surprised that I kind of have this whole area to myself. I would have almost thought that there would be somebody here creating some new art. So I found the River Crane again, and it seems like here it could be passing underneath some sort of railway line, but that's not the case at this specific point, but there is one a little further up. And I remember back then there was a little gate here, and it still exists, it's still open, and in there is quite possibly the strangest public footpath ever. When I say public footpath, this is the entrance to it. Let me just squeeze through. And we are definitely going to be wanting to turn on the flashlight in here. Wow, it's chilly instantly, and all the sound is gone. Wow, should we make it through to the light at the end of the tunnel? So I first found this tunnel from the other end, and I don't think the door was as ajar as it was. So I think I was spotting that little light and thinking the tunnel was much longer than it actually was. All right, let's do this then. If you just look at the ground, you can see it when you have your flashlight on. Then it's probably not as scary. When you look up, maybe it's more scary. I hear running water at this bit. I don't think it's flooded. Oh, is that a pipe maybe? Could be what it is. Oh, hang on. There's a little, there's the water. Ooh, it's a little bit flooded here and there. There's other people's footprints. Other people have done this. Okay, it's not too bad though. Oh, got a burnt out bike here. Obviously. I would have been surprised if there wasn't something like this in here. And that's it. I would say that only took 3 minutes maximum. And this is what I mean about it being a public footpath. That is, and there's nothing to stop you going all the way down here. I mean, okay, maybe there used to be a fence, but not for many, many years. I will never forget the first time that I was walking down beside the River Crane, and that is it, in there, in its adjacent tunnel, and coming across this and thinking, what on earth? Where am I? What is this place? Now, I was going to say, if you find your way up on top of the tunnel, you will find a clue as to what this area used to be. But, and I'm surprised it's taken this long actually, they're gone. Because right here, there would have been a stack of old railway tracks. So this was Feltham Marshalling Yards, which was considered to be the busiest railway sidings in the country. Construction began in 1916 when they built what is known as the Cavalry Tunnel to basically culvert the River Crane under this site. There is still an existing railway line, you could probably hear the train, and I wondered what had become of the tracks, because when I first saw it I thought, oh, maybe they're just replacing some of the track on the line into Feltham. But it was here for a very long time. I thought it was just a convenient place for them to keep it. Much of the site closed in 1969, although I think part of it nowadays is a Royal Mail depot, and also a brand new depot for South Western Railway's new trains, one of which we caught this morning. I was very surprised when I first visited Hounslow Heath, which was actually on New Year's Day 2018. And I wandered aimlessly across the site. I made it quite far down to this point where I came across the tunnel and the old railway tracks, which I didn't know of the history of the sidings at the time. And so I came quite far down from the entrance that I came in at. So I thought, oh, I'm not going to walk all the way back. So I'll just take this random path off of the River Crane, and I'm sure there'll be a bus stop somewhere nearby. And there was the terminus of the H26 in the Sparrow Farm Estate. So we've seen the H25 and the H26 terminus today. And so you know, when I came back to ride that bus route, I came back to visit this site again. But it's not the only abandoned location on Hounslow Heath. There's one more, which is also very intriguing. Ah, interesting. It looks like it's confused signage now, because we've rejoined the London Loop. You have the alternative path reaching the old one. You can tell just from the signs alone. I was wondering whether at this point should I stick to the London Loop beside the River Crane, or should I cross it and take a different path. But they've really tried to block it off, and I know why. So that kind of confirms that I can't anymore. I could go that way into the Heath, but I want to stick beside the crane then to go and see something specifically. It's just, unfortunately, I'm going to have a road section later, but that's okay. Now it's on the other side of the River Crane here, where Hounslow Heath has an abandoned golf course. Now that's not the most interesting of abandoned locations. It did close only in 2016. But it is what it has been turned into which intrigues me. Well, here we are, Hounslow Heath, London's new sort of theme park, sort of zoo. I mean, the golf has returned at least. So I was surprised to find out this place existed. I was like, what? Someone's invested in Hounslow Heath, because I was aware it was just a huge abandoned site. So that's it. I actually struggled to spot it at first, but you see that giant slide all the way over there? It was that I spotted from a passing bus and thought, what? Has this place turned into something? So yeah, that's Hounslow Heath on Hounslow Heath. I finally come to visit it, though I do now have a lengthy road walk to reach Hounslow Heath properly. But at least it's under the Heathrow flight path. Okay, well there's something along this long road, apart from immigration enforcement officers over there. We have an old mile marker, 11 miles to London, in the parish of Heston. Hounslow is definitely in that direction. Actually, the mile marker is right beside the other abandoned location on Hounslow Heath, which isn't always abandoned, because it is opened up as a car boot sale. And I mean, I was going to visit the abandoned site anyways, so I might as well actually just sneak in so I avoid a longer walk along the road. Oh, the sign's been ripped off, but it is a garden centre. I know that because the sign used to say it. And it's just bizarre to be here now, because it's such a vast open space, and it can be very busy here when the car boot sale is on, but right now, I don't know, it's like, what's the point of this place? This is very strange, because behind this container here, and you can actually find news articles online from when this was set alight back in like 2017. This used to be a way in. Oh, a little rat. I hope I caught him just then. This used to be a way into a little room. Bizarrely though, someone's broken through this wall, and this was the room, so you can still go in. So I remember that fateful New Year's Day in 2018 so well, when I first visited Hounslow Heath, and I came in from the main entrance on the road, immediately came off of the main footpath and stumbled across this gap in the fence that led to the abandoned building. I had a little look in, There was another convenient gap in the fence which told me it was a garden centre on the other side, and then I headed down the River Crane and found the abandoned tunnel and the railway tracks sat above it. It was one of the weirdest places I'd ever visited. It still might be. Not much has changed. I mean, Hounslow Heath is here now, I guess. Seriously, how is that fan still working up there? Next time you're landing at Heathrow, see if you can spot this huge abandoned garden centre on the edge of Hounslow Heath. You know what, I don't recall this hole in the wall. It's very burnt in this part. So bizarre. I do see a golf flag up there. That could be from the old one. I don't know if it might be part of Hobble Down nowadays, but I have just come across a London Loop sign, and it's just occurred to me that the alternative path wouldn't cross over Hounslow Heath. So I would understand if you don't want to take it. Especially if you're a little wary about that dark tunnel as well. I can understand if some people might not want to pass through there. So perhaps I'll take back what I said about why doesn't the London Loop go this way? Now, brilliantly, Hounslow Heath was an old airfield. It was used during World War I, and we have come across many old airfields on my walks in recent times, so it's great to add another one to the list now. Now, it can be confusing to define what was London's first airport. Without a doubt, the first aerodrome was Hendon in 1908. Here at Hounslow Heath, though, the first international flight from the UK took off to Paris in 1919, but this whole site was replaced by Croydon Airport in 1920, and that is regarded as being the first proper London international airport. Ironically, Heathrow replaced it just up the road. And to think that I never even got to see this memorial because I turned off of the main footpath immediately when I entered Hounslow Heath. And I mean, look, the entrance is right there. How could I have missed it? Ah, the first flight to Australia took off from here as well. It took a month. If you think it takes a long time to get there now, oh dear. So I've left Hounslow Heath now, and just up the road from it lies Hounslow Barracks, which, to continue with the abandoned theme, is now all closed. It only closed back in 2021. It's weird to see another derelict site here now. This was formed in 1793 in response to the French Revolution, just in case we decided to revolt against our monarchy, or in case the French decided to invade us. It's also a brilliant old road sign on the outside of the barracks here that mentions a previous borough, the Heston and Isleworth borough. It's just Hounslow now. It's said that this area was going to undergo redevelopment into new houses, but it doesn't look like that's happened yet. So this building, of course, would have been very tied with Hounslow Heath back when it was operating during the war. It's even said that Florence Nightingale underwent some of her training here, and Winston Churchill would have taken the train here when he was younger. Speaking of the trains, first let me just take a walk across Beaversfield Park though, which the back walls of the barracks leads out onto. And there it is, Hounslow Barracks Station. And you can't tell me otherwise because there's no name on it, because a double-decker bus smashed into the station recently, so the signs on the outside have been taken away. Well, Hounslow Barracks was the original name of the station when it opened in 1884 as the terminus of the District Railway. It was renamed in 1925. The Charles Holden-esque building, though, definitely dates it to 1933 when the Piccadilly line took over. And I love the septagonal ticket hall, reminiscent of the one at Ealing Common. There you go, that's what it's supposed to look like. And brilliantly here in the ticket hall, there is a little miniature tube train, which I think I can operate. No, maybe not anymore. Oh no, I've operated a little steam train instead. Once you make it through the ticket hall though, the rest of the station is quite strange. And that's because the original platforms would have been out there. But then when they built the extension through to Heathrow in 1975, underground, they just bolted on this little thing to the platforms over to the side. It is also the only tube station to have step-free access for manual wheelchair users only, in the form of this stair lift here. Why this isn't at more tube stations, I don't know. Honestly, Hounslow West might be one of my favourite tube stations. I even like the garish 70s colour scheme that it has down here. And you might be wondering about the slightly random appearance of this London adventure, because throughout summer I usually do ones out of the capital. Well, apart from 2 times of the year, one at the end of September to celebrate when I started walking the London Loop. Ironically, I did a section of it today, and one at the end of May, because every year I get a selfie with the station sign at Boston Manor station, which just so happens to only be a few stops away, so this is my perfect opportunity. I'll leave links to 2 previous videos that have ended at Boston Manor, where I explain the reason why I do this a little bit more. My train is coming in though. Obviously I'm gonna have to get off at Boston Manor, so thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. They've actually got new stop boards for the 24 stock as well, the new Piccadilly line trains. This is not one of them.